TechTale 61. Today is Friday, June 18th, 7:12 a.m. We're looking at 109 degrees today, and the way that I take comfort is I was watching Kerry Holzman's videos yesterday, and he's in the upper 100 teens, I don't know, 116, 117 temperatures like that in Phoenix, Arizona. I think, oh my gosh. He got out a lot of videos yesterday, and I watched all of the ones that he did, except for the one that he started after I went to bed, and I started watching that this morning, and he was talking about the video arcade machines. Oh, those are amazing. I love them. So anyway, here we go. Time slip from 2 weeks ago on a Friday. No, excuse me, Saturday, the June 5th. So this is the CPA office Romeo from 12:55 to 1:38 p.m., 43 minutes. Speaking with Romeo in the office, phone and remote support to fix problem with workstations unable to connect to server after power outage. Server had reverted from private network type to public network type. Created video of the procedure for fixing the issue. This is the first time a power outage has resulted in this particular solution being required. Now, there's been other times when the workstations would switch from private to public network type, but not the server. This video shows the procedure better than any written instructions could do. Email a link for the video to management. So I've told you in the past that Tango in this office, who's now a partner in the business, had previously requested written instructions so they could fix things on their own. If not, I'm not available. Well, this issue, it's difficult to write the instructions for switching from public to private network in a written form that they will be able to understand and interpret. It's so much easier just to show them. And since I was connected remotely to the computer, I just hit the record button when I started the procedure. So it wasn't a video that I created after the fact. And I've done this a few times now for clients where I just create a quick little video and gets them the instructions that they need. Now, I haven't heard back from them as to how well they like that, but it seems to me like it ought to be a good thing. So is there anything else about that to discuss? I don't think so. Just that they're having power outages in this office. There's at least one more that's going to occur between that date and today's date that we'll get to a time slip on that later. And at that time, I have a conversation with them about, it seems like your power outages happen on the weekend. Well, this was on a Saturday that he came in. So that's still the weekend. Although I think most of the times we discover that there's been a power outage on Monday. That's when they discover it, that it occurred over the weekend. So now I'm going to advance to the next week. So now we're just a little less than 2 weeks behind on the time slips. Now this time slip is for Tuesday. So that's, Sunday, Monday, I don't have any time slips. This is for the CPA office Sierra. I'm not sure, it's not been very often that I've done a time slip during Tech Tales for this client. This could be the first. I don't think it is. But anyway, an hour and 13 minutes from 8:21 a.m. to 9:34 a.m. with Juliet in the office. Phone and remote support to his computer. He is the CPA of this office. Uninstalled McAfee Safe Connect and McAfee Security Scan Plus, which got installed during an upgrade for Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. So he got a prompt for doing an upgrade for that, and there's those check marks on the window that if you don't take those check marks off, Adobe Acrobat Reader update will install McAfee items. I just wish they wouldn't do that. Does not create a good image for them. Set Adobe Acrobat Reader DC as the default app for PDF files. So apparently during this update, Microsoft Edge became the default for PDF files. So that's interesting. I want to pay closer attention to that. Or maybe somebody in the comments can confirm that they've seen this happen, where if you have the default set to Adobe Acrobat Reader DC for your default PDF and then do an update, does Microsoft Edge make itself the default for PDFs in that instance? That appears to be what happened here. Then troubleshoot printing extra sheet of paper with PCL XL. So part of the beginning of this phone call is he says he's getting an extra sheet of paper after every print job. It's a blank sheet of paper except up at the top it has PCL XL, and then some kind of code numbers. Used 3 methods of installing new printer driver with negative results. I do that because that was a waste of time. I didn't know it at the time. Shut down printer, disconnected cables, reconnected, and restarted to clear the symptom. So the 3 different methods of dealing with the printer driver did not solve the problem. And it really was restart the printer. Now, when I asked him to shut down the printer, he pressed the shutdown button. This is a printer that has a shutdown process to go through. So I think that's where this would happen. So apparently, I'm deducing a print job got corrupted. And then the printer had this corruption in its memory for the subsequent print jobs. Although it would print whatever he's trying to print, it would print properly, but there'd be this extra sheet of paper. And I thought in the past, and I still think in the past, I've seen that be caused by printer driver issues. And my deduction would be, well, probably Windows Update or something caused a conflict with the printer driver. We need to update the printer driver because it's probably been fixed to be compatible with the most current version of Windows, or the most current updated Windows. But the printer driver updates did not solve the problem. So then I had to shut down and disconnect and reconnect cables, and that fixed the extra sheet. Now, it's also possible that something about the cables, because I think there is a circumstance where a cable that's not making a good solid connection, maybe there's some oxidation, corrosion or something on contact points. Disconnect and reconnect it, and that kind of scrapes through that corrosion, oxidation, whatever it is. I'd like to learn that someday. If somebody knows a good article that describes what's going on with those contacts, I would like to read up on that. But another piece of interest there, I had him disconnect the USB cable from, no, wait a minute, it wasn't USB cable. Here's another piece of this. I asked him, is the printer connected by USB cable to the computer? And he says, yes. And then when we actually got working with the cables, I said, well, what does that cable connector look like? Does it kind of look like a profile of a simple house with a slanted roof? Or does it look like a telephone connector? He said it looks like a telephone connector. So this is not connected by USB cable. It's connected by Ethernet port. So he has trouble connecting it back. And I said, are you connecting it to the same port? And he said, yes. And I said, well, get your eyes on it. Look at that. And that's when he discovers, oh, there's 2 holes it can go into. And that's something I've had before. I've shown up to fix a printer problem and found that they had the USB cable jammed into an Ethernet port, and the printer wouldn't work. So you got to ask people, get your eyes on the port. See, you got to turn the printer around. You got to do whatever you got to do to get eyes on it, or maybe use a cell phone camera back there to take a picture so that you know what you're dealing with. Okay, then here's another issue he had. Used a landscape mode and zoom to resolve issue for this spreadsheet. Let's see. I better reread this sentence because I don't remember if I got to this. Determined method for printing of poorly designed PDF of a spreadsheet which caused data to not be readable. Use landscape mode and zoom to resolve issue. Well, a client of his had sent him this PDF file of an Excel spreadsheet. The client is a computer user, right? He's got this spreadsheet with lots of columns. It's really wide. And he creates a PDF file with this, probably doesn't try printing it. So when my client opens it and goes to print it, by default, it's set to scale to fit on the sheet of paper. And he printed it in, normal portrait mode, and it was just tiny, tiny, tiny print. And so then he changed to landscape mode, still unreadable because it was so tiny. So the options were to have the client redo the PDF in a more reasonable fashion so it's multiple page, but that could be difficult to accomplish because for my client who's not very computer literate to describe to his client, who we don't really know how to do this, could be challenging. So what I did is change the settings for printing to allow it to flow over to multiple pages. So printing landscape, but zoomed in, and it printed on multiple pages of paper. And he says, I can do this. I can work with this. So that resolved that issue. So there was, let's see, the McAfee issue, the extra sheet of paper issue, and the PDF issue for him. Oh, now what was this? There's more here. Discuss. Oh, yeah. I wrote this in all caps, only so that I could discuss this during Tech Tales. I'm not going to print this part on his invoice. Discuss that MSP, Managed Service Provider, would have not encountered the need to update Adobe. Report HP.com printer driver failed to allow unselecting of data reporting. Failed to allow unselecting of data reporting. Multiple downloads with slightly different names and same file size versions. Install pressed for activation, but then link does not go to activation page. I want to make a video of the driver install with printer present. Yeah, the driver for this HP, when you go to hp.com to find this printer driver, it was difficult to maneuver through there and find the right thing. It had multiple different downloads with just slightly different names. So you got to read through this bunch of gibberish to figure out which is the right one. And they all had exactly the same file versions and file sizes. So you have to wonder, are these actually the same file? Yeah, I found this really challenging for me. And for an end user, what would it be like? Now, it turned out that we didn't really need to do that because that wasn't the solution for the printer problem. But it's still, people need to be able to maneuver their way through a manufacturer's website. And some of these driver downloads are just difficult to get through and figure out which is right. And that the installation pressed for activation, but the link does not go to activation page. There was a step through the process of installing the driver where it wants you to activate somehow the software or the license. You click on that and it doesn't go there. The link is broken. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to do a little soft rant there about some of these product manufacturers and their driver pages they don't put enough thought into it. That'll do it for this session. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.